Let's begin with a truth that very few women understand, and even fewer apply. 99% of women don't do this, yet men absolutely love it. What is this exactly? It's not about being more attractive, having money, or exuding confidence. These things help, but they don't create connection. Real connection, the kind that lingers long after the date ends, is built on something else entirely. Small, intentional, often overlooked actions. And here's the kicker. These gestures are so subtle, so seemingly insignificant, that most women dismiss them without ever giving them a chance. But when you understand them, truly understand them, you unlock a part of male psychology that most people never access. Let me ask you, how often do you meet a woman who seems to have it all? Looks, smarts, charisma, and yet she still struggles to form meaningful relationships? It's not about what she has, it's about what she misses. Today you're going to discover 7 hidden secrets that men secretly crave but rarely admit. These aren't basic dating tips you've seen on Instagram or read in cliché articles. They're deep, psychologically rooted triggers, supported by science and aligned with ancient Stoic wisdom. These secrets work not because they manipulate, but because they reflect something incredibly powerful: emotional intelligence. And in a noisy world of superficial dating games and endless swipes, emotional intelligence is magnetic. It's rare. It's the true secret sauce. So, if you've ever wondered why a connection fizzled out or why he lost interest even though everything seemed perfect, you're about to find out why. And by the end of this, you'll not only know what makes a man feel emotionally connected, you'll understand how to embody it. But before we dive into the first secret, take a moment. If you're serious about transforming how you connect with men, if you're ready to leave the 99% behind, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This isn't fluff. These are tools that will reshape your relationships and the way you carry yourself forever. Now, let's begin. Secret number 1, the power of touch before intimacy. You're on a date. Everything's going well. The conversation is flowing, there's laughter, there's a spark, but then nothing. You text him the next day and he doesn't reply. You're left confused, wondering what went wrong. Here's the harsh truth. Most women rely on words alone to build attraction. They assume a good conversation equals a deep connection. But for men, it's not just about what you say. It's about what he feels. Men connect physically and emotionally, and one of the most underutilized ways to foster emotional intimacy is through touch. Not sexual, not needy, but intentional. Present touch. Imagine this. The night is winding down, and instead of rushing or expecting something, you lean in and offer something simple, a gentle, non-sexual massage. Just a few minutes, focused, calm, present. He's not expecting it. But here's the beauty. This moment isn't about you giving him something physical, it's about giving him something emotional. Safety, presence, and care. It tells him, I see you. You can relax around me. You don't need to prove anything. That right there, it hits a level that most women never touch. Why does this work so powerfully? Because men crave emotional softness, even if they don't say it. They long to feel nurtured, not smothered, not mothered, but seen on a level deeper than their exterior. And science backs this up. Gentle, intentional touch releases oxytocin, a bonding hormone. When you create that environment of safety before intimacy, he starts associating you with calm, connection, and emotional depth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good woman should be. Be one." That means stop overthinking. Don't chase perfection. Be present. Be intuitive. Let your actions speak for you. Most women never take the time to understand how their physical presence, when calm and intentional, can say more than words ever could. The result? They remain stuck in surface-level interactions, wondering why men lose interest. But you won't. Because now you understand the difference between performance and presence. Secret number 2. Flirting with confidence and respect. Flirting is often misunderstood. Many women either overdo it, coming off too strong, or they underdo it, fearing judgment or rejection. But men, they're drawn to a specific kind of flirtation. Playful, confident, respectful. A woman who flirts because she enjoys herself, not because she's trying to impress. radiates an entirely different energy. That's rare. That's powerful. Here's a quick example. Let's say he tells you he's obsessed with sushi. You might respond with a smile and say, "Sushi? That's cute. I guess you've never had my cooking?" It's playful. It's teasing. It's not about being mean. It's about sparking chemistry through curiosity. A little challenge. A light push-pull. This isn't a tactic. It's a tone. Great flirting is not about being the most entertaining person in the room. It's about sharing your energy without needing validation. That's what makes it magnetic. And your body language speaks just as loudly, if not louder, than your words. Eye contact. A well-timed pause. A confident smile that lingers just a second too long. Those are the micro moments where real attraction grows. From a Stoic perspective, flirting without attachment to outcome is the highest form of self-mastery. You flirt because it's fun, not because you're hoping for a reaction. You're not trying to win his affection. You're simply enjoying the connection. And men, they sense that instantly. They lean in. They become curious. They start seeing you not as someone trying to win them, but as someone who's already whole and simply enjoying the moment. So ask yourself, are you flirting to impress, or are you flirting because you're at peace with yourself? Once you master this, you'll never chase attention again. It will come to you, naturally. We have uncovered two powerful, often overlooked truths: the silent intimacy of intentional touch before intimacy, and the magnetic quality of confident, respectful flirting. These alone already separate you from the 99% of women who rely on words alone to spark connection. Now let's dive deeper. These next insights continue to build your emotional intelligence and your ability to trigger real, lasting attraction. Because here's the truth. Men remember how you made them feel. Not just how you looked, not just what you said, but how they felt in your presence. Calm, energized, safe, desired. So let's unlock the next 3 secrets that speak to something deeper than attraction. Let's talk about emotional bonding. Subtle, powerful, unforgettable. Secret number 3. Touching his hair. Timing is everything. This one might surprise you. Touching a man's hair seems so simple, but done right, it creates a deep psychological connection. Done wrong, it can feel awkward, rushed, or even invasive. Here's why it matters. The scalp is one of the most sensitive areas of the human body. Touching it gently, with intention, activates a set of nerves that respond directly to emotional safety and affection. It's deeply primal, subconscious, raw. But it's not about stroking his head just because you think you should. It's not about making a move for the sake of closeness. The timing and the energy behind it make all the difference. Picture this. You're sitting beside him. You're laughing. There's chemistry in the air. He leans in just slightly. His body language open. His smile lingers. That's when you slowly brush a strand of hair from his forehead. You look into his eyes for a second longer than usual. That simple moment, done with presence, not performance, can light up his nervous system like a quiet spark. It tells him, I'm comfortable with you. I see you. I trust you. That's intimacy. But be warned, most women miss this completely. They either jump in too soon, touching him without emotional build-up, or they never do it at all, waiting for him to make every move. The secret isn't in the gesture. The secret is in the awareness, reading the moment, feeling his openness, and responding with subtlety. That's where the magic is. And from a Stoic perspective, this is everything. Stoicism teaches emotional restraint and timing, not acting out of impulse, but out of clarity. You touch his hair not because you need to, but because the moment calls for it. That's presence. That's poise. That's power. Secret number 4. The subtle power of a hand on his back. Now let's go even more subtle, more refined. Have you ever gently guided a man through a room by placing your hand on his lower back? It might seem like nothing, but to him, it speaks volumes. That one gesture, brief, calm, intentional, says, I see where we're going. I trust you and I want you to trust me. I'm grounded. I'm here with you. This isn't about control. It's not about claiming him. It's about showing up with quiet awareness. About moving through the world as a woman who doesn't need to dominate or submit. When you do this at the right moment, Say, walking into a restaurant, passing through a crowd, or stepping through a door. You project poise and presence. You become the woman who's in tune with herself and the moment. Most women never do this. Either they hesitate, unsure if it's too much, or they move in a way that feels stiff, nervous, or forced. But when you touch him gently, on his terms, at the right time, it makes him feel safe, respected, and connected. Remember, men crave femininity with strength. They don't want someone who clings or dominates. They want a woman who moves with intention. And that's what this gesture reflects. From the Stoic lens, it's the embodiment of calm leadership. Stoicism teaches us not to overreact, not to chase approval, but to move with quiet confidence. That hand on his back, it's not about the act, it's about the energy behind it. Do you move through life anxiously or with grace? Because when you embody calm control, men sense it. They don't always understand it, but they feel it, and they remember it. Secret number 5, being his quiet support in small moments. Now let's talk about support. Not the dramatic kind, not the Hollywood version, but the quiet, calm, everyday support that builds deep trust. Today's men are self-reliant. They don't need someone to rescue them, but they do long for a woman who can be emotionally present when it counts. Not when he's at his lowest, but when life throws a subtle challenge. For example, someone makes a rude comment to him. Do you subtly back him up with a calm presence? He's in a tense conversation. Do you remain steady without overreacting? He's dealing with a stressful decision. Can you listen? Really listen, without jumping in with solutions? These small moments, they're everything, and most women miss them completely. Support isn't about doing, it's about being. Being steady, being aware, being quietly present without the need to fix, prove, or control. This is the Stoic woman in action. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the lesson here. A woman who remains emotionally stable in small situations becomes the woman a man trusts in big ones. She becomes his anchor, his calm, not because she takes over, but because she stands steady in her own energy. And that's powerful. That's rare. That's unforgettable. So now, you've uncovered 5 powerful emotional triggers most women never think to use. 1. Touch before intimacy, because safety sparks connection. 2. Confident flirting, because presence matters more than performance. 3. Touching his hair, because timing creates intimacy. 4. A hand on his back, because subtle leadership is magnetic. 5. Quiet support, because real strength is calm, not chaos. These aren't tactics. They're ways of being. They're shifts in how you show up. Not just in romance, but in life. And when you embody them, men don't just notice, they remember you. Long after the date, long after the text. Because you made them feel something few ever do. Safe, seen, and subtly desired. By now, you've learned how to cultivate presence through touch, support, and emotional composure. But what if you could go one step further? Beyond the physical, beyond the emotional, and reach a place where a man thinks about you even when you're not around? That's what this next set of insights is about. Creating emotional imprinting through mystery, suggestion, and subconscious influence. Not by playing games, not by being manipulative, but by understanding one of the deepest truths about attraction. Men are drawn to what they don't fully understand, but feel deeply. Let's talk about how to access that space. Secret number 6, the "I had a dream about you" technique. It sounds almost too simple, too lighthearted, too dreamy, but it's precisely this blend of casual mystery and emotional suggestion that makes it so powerful. Here's how it works. During a relaxed moment, maybe while texting, maybe while sitting on the couch, maybe over coffee, you say calmly and playfully, "You know, I had the weirdest dream about you last night." And then you pause. Let silence do the work. 9 times out of 10, he'll lean in. He'll ask, "Wait, what was it about?" This is where most women make a mistake. They go too romantic, too detailed, too soon. Instead, keep it light and a little ambiguous. "Honestly, I don't even remember all the details. We were just sitting somewhere talking, but it felt really natural, like we've known each other forever." Weird, right? What you've just done is plant a deep seed of emotional familiarity. You've subtly told him you feel comfortable with him. He's entered your subconscious space. He's meaningful, even without you saying so directly. And here's why it works. Dreams are powerful because they're unplanned. We don't choose them. So when you tell a man he appeared in one, it bypasses logic and triggers emotional curiosity. He starts to wonder, why am I in her dreams? Does she think about me more than she lets on? What does this mean? These questions don't just entertain him, they bond him to you. Because they make him feel special in a way no compliment ever could. Why? Because compliments are chosen. Dreams are subconscious, they feel real. And when a woman introduces this kind of unexpected emotional moment, it sticks. It lingers in his mind, because it's rare. And more than anything, men remember rare. This is how attraction becomes emotional memory. And emotional memory is what makes you unforgettable. Why mystery is more powerful than clarity. Most women think clarity is the goal in relationships. Say what you feel. Define everything. Be 100% open. But here's the reality. Mystery, when used correctly, is an emotional amplifier. When a man knows everything about you right away, he doesn't get to discover you. Discovery is what builds obsession. Curiosity is what keeps connection alive. Now, mystery doesn't mean being secretive or cold. It means giving just enough for his mind to engage, while still holding some of your emotional cards close. Think of it like a great book. You don't want the ending on page 1. You want to turn the pages, to learn more, to go deeper. The best relationships follow the same principle. When you share something mysterious, like a dream, a strange coincidence, or a thought that feels unfinished, you invite him to keep reading, to lean in, to want more. And here's the key. This doesn't mean being aloof or withholding love. It means pacing emotional access. When you create space for his curiosity, he chooses to invest more. He imagines you. He remembers you. Because you've triggered his deepest instinct, the thrill of pursuit, the stoic power of emotional discipline. Let's ground this in stoic wisdom. You see, Stoicism teaches that emotional control is power, not repression, not numbness, but the ability to guide your actions based on wisdom, not impulse. A Stoic woman doesn't give herself away emotionally without intention. She knows when to reveal, and when to let silence speak. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So what if you became the woman who thought in subtlety, who acted with restraint, who understood that intimacy is more powerful when it's invited, not forced? That's what this technique is about. You don't need a perfect moment. You don't need a script. You just need the confidence to let your presence, your imagination, and your energy create emotional texture. When a man sees you not as a performer, but as a woman with inner depth and self-awareness, he doesn't just chase you. He bonds to you. How to anchor curiosity without saying a word. Here's something few people understand. Sometimes, the most powerful attraction is created without language at all. Here's an example. Next time you're sitting close to a man, don't fill every moment with conversation. Let there be silence. But in that silence, lean in ever so slightly. Let your gaze linger for a moment too long. Then look away, slowly. What you've just created is an anchor of emotional tension. You've suggested something without words. You've allowed imagination to enter the space. And imagination is one of the most potent forces in male psychology. Men don't need you to spell everything out. They need space to feel something real, to create their own narrative about you. When you let them do that, you're no longer just another woman on a date. You're a presence in his mind. Not because you chased, not because you performed, but because you understood the art of emotional pacing. Why these hidden techniques matter. So far, you've gone far beyond what most women ever learn about connection. You now understand how to emotionally bond a man with a dream reference. Why mystery is more memorable than clarity. How to anchor curiosity through silence, not just words. And why emotional discipline makes you magnetic, not detached. These are the kinds of gestures and moments men never forget. Because they're rare. Because they're unexpected. Because they don't just make him feel wanted. They make him feel special. Most women will never tap into this. They'll keep trying harder, texting more, talking more, proving more. But the 1%, they do less, but they do it with presence, with intention, with awareness. You've made it this far. That alone puts you ahead of most women. You now understand how to trigger deep emotional attraction, not by effort or performance, but by understanding the subtle, often silent cues that men crave on a subconscious level. Now it's time to bring it all together, because what truly separates the 99% from the 1% isn't just knowledge, it's embodiment. It's not what you say. It's not even always what you do. It's who you choose to be, moment by moment, and one of the most overlooked signals of presence, self-respect and inner strength is this. Secret number 7, the primal power of a well-groomed personal style. Let's be clear, this is not about vanity. It's not about being trendy, having designer labels, or spending hours on makeup. It's about something far more primal, visual psychology. Human beings are wired to assess one another instantly. Within seconds, we pick up on subconscious cues. Are you composed? Do you respect yourself? Do you show signs of discipline? For men, a woman's appearance speaks long before she opens her mouth, not because they're shallow, but because they're biologically tuned to pick up signals of emotional and physical awareness. A well-groomed woman communicates self-respect, discipline, confidence, care for herself, and by extension others. It doesn't matter your body type. It doesn't matter your fashion style. What matters is the intention behind your appearance. A woman who puts effort into her grooming, hair, skin, nails, posture, scent, clothing fit, triggers something ancient in the male mind. She is composed. She takes care of herself. She carries herself like a woman of value. And here's what most women don't realize. When a man sees that you value yourself on the outside, he naturally assumes you do so on the inside. He doesn't need proof. He feels it. Because how you show up physically is often the mirror of your inner world. Grooming is self-respect in action. Think of grooming as silent storytelling. Each detail, the way you carry yourself, the way your clothes fit, the clarity of your skin, the scent you choose, is a chapter in that story. It says, I am aware of myself. I care about how I affect the space around me. I don't need to be the loudest in the room. I let my presence speak. You don't need to be flashy. You need to be intentional. You don't need 20 outfits. You need 3 that fit you, like they were made for you. You don't need expensive beauty routines. You need a simple, consistent one that makes you glow. Because when you're consistently groomed, your entire energy shifts. You walk differently. You move with awareness. You speak more clearly. You attract differently and better. This isn't just theory. It's backed by psychology and experience. And from a Stoic perspective, this ties directly into inner mastery. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Your outer form should reflect your inner order." A Stoic woman doesn't obsess over looks, but she doesn't neglect them either. She tends to her body as a sacred vessel, not to impress others, but to reflect the peace and discipline within. From girl to woman, the shift men instantly notice. There's a clear difference between someone who looks cute and a woman who embodies presence. That presence is cultivated through internal alignment and external consistency, and men can tell immediately. A woman with presence doesn't fidget with insecurity, doesn't use style to hide but to express, doesn't chase attention, she draws it naturally. And yes, this shift can be physical, but it always begins mentally. Here are a few practical signs of a woman stepping into her 1% energy. She invests in quality, not quantity. She wears clothing that flatters her energy, not just her body. Her grooming reflects care and rhythm, not perfection. Her walk has intention. Every step is grounded. Her eye contact holds steady, not confrontational, but calm. These are the things that speak before she says a word. Presence is the final secret. Let's zoom out now. You've learned about the power of intentional touch, the art of confident, respectful flirting, building connection through hair and body language, subtle emotional support, creating mystery through dream anchoring, and how to trigger subconscious respect through grooming. But the real secret that threads through every single one of these techniques is this: presence, not performance, not perfection. but presence. The ability to be fully aware, emotionally grounded, and internally whole in the moment you're in. Presence doesn't require you to say the right thing. It requires you to be the right energy. When you are present, you naturally flirt better, touch with intention, read the room, create mystery without effort, attract without chasing. Because the truth is, men aren't looking for someone perfect. They're looking for someone real. And in a world full of distraction, anxiety, and insecurity, a woman who is present, calm, clear, composed is a rare force, becoming the 1% woman. Let's bring it all together. The 99% rely on surface-level strategies. Say this to get a man's attention. Dress like this to attract high-value men. Play hard to get. But the 1% woman moves differently. She doesn't try to prove her worth. She embodies it. She doesn't beg for connection. She creates it through presence, touch, tone, and truth. She doesn't fear losing a man, because she knows that her energy is the real prize. Remember, your presence is the message. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who is deeply comfortable in her own skin. No trick, tactic, or trend will ever surpass that. And the beautiful part? Everything you've learned here, every subtle psychological and stoic insight, is not just about making men desire you. It's about helping you remember your own natural feminine power. Because when you begin to see yourself as grounded, aware, radiant, and fully present, the world reflects that back to you. You don't just become unforgettable to him. You become unforgettable to yourself. And that's when you know you've stepped out of the 99% and into the elite 1% of women who understand what true attraction really is. If this entire journey resonated with you, if you're ready to embody these principles and make them second nature, leave a comment below. Which of the 7 secrets are you most excited to try first? And if this message gave you clarity, power, or a new perspective, subscribe and share it with a woman you know who deserves to step into her 1%. Because this isn't just a video, it's the beginning of a transformation. Now go out there, not to chase love, but to become the kind of woman love can't ignore. This is just the beginning.